Hey everybody, and welcome to the spring edition of our product update webinar. We are here for our quarterly product update, and we've got lots of features to take you through today, so let's get stuck into it. So what we're covering today, we're covering all of the new features from the last 3 months of offers releases, and today we're actually going to be introducing our new features for our welcomes, which Pete and Kirsty are going to take you through. So that's really exciting. We're really looking forward to showing that off to you. We've got some key updates you need to know, and then at the end, if there's any questions still remaining, happy to have a Q&A session at the end. So the first thing I wanted to show you guys today was probably one of my favourite features, which is Insights. You can now monitor your HROnboard usage with our new Insights section. And the Insights allows you to filter across your different hiring entities, your different workflows, whether that's onboards, crossboards, or if you've done a recontracting exercise. And that allows you to easily get to the usage stats that you're after, and that's really perfect for reporting. Hovering over this graph will give you a breakdown of your usage across each month. And if you want even further analysis, we've got a little export button, and that means that you can export the data out to CSV. So this is our first version. It is really useful. We are looking to make updates to Insights in the future, maybe some year-on-year comparisons, things like that. So please check it out and let us know your thoughts on Insights. And we've done a bit of spring cleaning to the dashboard, which I think was definitely needed. It got a bit of polishing because the dashboard, when you logged in, it was getting a bit busy. So we've moved things around to make it clearer and also to get to the information you need faster. So there's a new actions for you, and this prioritises what offers you might need to approve and also what tasks required to be completed. Also, previously, you'll know onboards and crossboards were sort of lumped together, and it was just logical for us to separate these two modules so that you can easily identify the activity under each of them. And that's becoming more important now as we are seeing a lot more of these large-scale recontracting exercises and salary reviews that's happening across our customer base. It was also a good chance for us to give the dashboard a bit of colour. So we love the purple there for the crossboards module. And we haven't taken anything out, but we have moved a few things around now. So if you want to get to, say, your offers dashboard where all of your offers are stored, you just simply need to go to the report section, which is also where you'll find Insights as well. So we've just sort of made everything a little bit easier to navigate across the dashboard. So that's it on the dashboard. Our people permission. So people is a feature that's always been in HROnboard, and what it essentially is just a simple list of all of the back office users and anyone in your environment who's been sent an offer or an exit. It's simply a list of names, but for those with the right permission from people, it's a really great place to start creating your crossboards or exits because it gives you a head start with automatically bringing across details such as the employee's email address and phone numbers. But what we've done is we've actually made people now permissionable, so you can determine who has access to this section in your environment. So if you don't want people to have access, or if you don't want users to have access to the people section, then they don't have to. It's easy as that, and it's just all determined by that permission there. So check that out, guys. And let us know how you get on with that one. Another one of my new favourite features is testing in production. So it's pretty cool because the majority of you guys both have a trial and production environment, which is great because when you want a nice sandpit environment to play around with and test new features and updates, you can do this in your trial environments without breaking anything. You might mess some things up, but that's okay because it's in trial, so it's just no worries. But sometimes you might just have a simple update that you want to check out. And if you're already logged into production, why not do a quick test? It doesn't count towards this subscription. And importantly, you can't spam anyone with notifications, because whoever created the test offer will get those notifications sent to them. We'll also get you out of any trouble with payroll, because they won't be triggered with any kind of integration or notification to them with dummy data. So it's a really easier and much faster way to test updates, and it's also great for new users as well. So if you're new to our system, you can start getting yourself more familiar with your HROnboard environment by just doing some tests in production. Another great testing feature that we've released is to test your bulk imports, which is something that a lot of our customers have been doing quite a lot of recently, with some high activity projects happening. So if you want to test your bulk import, you can now do this as well, which is really, really great news.
So we just have one question. With test offers, can I have multiple tests with the same email address?
Yes, you can. You can. That is totally fine. Yes. And we'll actually talk about managing duplicates. Actually, that's a really good segue, because the next thing I'm going to take you through is managing duplicates, and it actually applies with tests as well. Duplicates and the dreaded duplicate record, and a lot of our long-standing customers will know a lot about this one. So for those of you who are using onboards, crossboards and offboards, you'll know that when you're creating an additional contract or exit for an existing employee and you weren't using the People tab to do that, a new contract or exit would create another record for the same person. So it was pretty annoying. We've created the People tab to assist in easily creating these additional crossboards. However, newer users might not know about the functionality, or they might not have the permission to see the People tab either. So the duplicate records were still being created and sort of being a bit of a pain. So we've created this clever new feature that prompts you to keep these records together by now identifying matching data of your employees. So when a contract or an exit is created, and the details match existing data in HROnboard, will actually prompt you. The prompt will say, "Hey, we've got matching data. Would you like to use this?" And if yes, that will keep the employee record together. And this is great because it creates this fantastic life cycle and easy history for you to reference around when your employee was onboarded, then when they were subsequently cross-boarded for promotions or salary updates or whatever use case you're using crossboards for, and then with the final hurrah, their exit. So keeping it all together. If you do mistakenly create an offer that has the same details as someone in the system, and that's not so, then you can just bypass that, or you can actually fix what you've done if it's incorrect. And that allows you to keep going in the system. But the intent there is just to keep all the records in the one offer file. And another new feature which is related to managing duplicates is which email address to use when sending notifications to employees. So the onboard process requires you to use the new hire's personal email address, because obviously at that stage they don't have their new work email address set up yet. However, if you're continuing and using crossboards and offboards, it might actually be easier for you to send any future notifications to employees using their work email address. So we've also got an option of sending the notification to either their email or personal addresses, or actually you can send them to both. So no matter what email addresses your employees are using, you'll be able to get those notifications sent to them. So pretty cool, that one. Okay. An important new feature, which is how we manage deleting, declining, or withdrawing offers. So these are 3 actions that you can do in the workflow, but each hold a very different purpose. And they're very important to capture correctly, especially when other teams, such as legal teams, might query it, and they rely on audit trails to understand what's actually happened to the offer and why it hasn't proceeded to acceptance. By selecting delete under the actions there, this will actually trigger and ask you to specify the reason. So if you decline or withdraw, if you select decline or withdraw, a further pop-up menu will present itself, and it actually allows you to include comments as to why you are withdrawing or declining the offer. So when this comes up, you need to put in some clear notes there so that if someone's picking up the offer in, say, 6 months' time, they'll clearly be able to understand why the offer was declined or withdrawn. Deleting the offer will also delete all the data and associated documents, and they cannot be retrieved. We do have warnings about this, but please use this with caution. And you know, you may be deleting it and it'll be totally fine. It's totally fine to do so depending on the situation, but please err on the side of using actually withdraw or decline just in case. You just never know what might arise with this candidate in a few months' time. So if you back yourself and you've got the data there that clearly shows what happened with the offer, it's just good for everybody. So any questions on declining, deleting?
It's also a permissioned feature, so you've got to have the permission to be able to use that functionality.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Cool. Our recent update a couple of weeks ago has introduced the start end date update. So we've all seen this happen, and it does happen quite a bit, so that's why we've introduced this new feature. So the initial contract goes out to the employee, it's accepted and everything is in place, and then the new hire goes and negotiates with their hiring manager a change to the start date, whether this is earlier or later than originally expected. And this can throw teams out. They may need to rush to start the provisioning process earlier than anticipated. And I suppose more importantly, it does change the terms of the original agreement, being the date that they started with you. So the new start or end date feature, so we can change this for offboards too, which is really cool, allows you to update the new start date in this section here. And that will actually update all the start date fields wherever it appears in the offer file. And more importantly, this action is also recorded in the audit trail too. And it's a good start as it will ensure your payroll systems and HROnboard have identical data. I want to just say that this is the first iteration of this feature, and we do intend in the future to allow you to then send notifications and triggers or a new integration and even update a task with a new start date. But for now, you will need to do this outside of HROnboard while we're working to enhance this feature in a future release, aren't we, Pete?
Yes, sure.
Great.
So we just have a question here.
Yeah.
If there's a change to the start date, does it ask the new starter to accept the new start date?
No, it doesn't. So if you do want them to, there's ways that you could do this, but by just specifically using this feature, it won't at the moment send out any alerts or anything like that to anybody else. What I would see happening in the future release is that it would send an email to the new hire confirming the new start date, but for now, just need to manage that outside of HROnboard. Cool. User and role editing. So for those, and I do feel for you, those that are subject to audits throughout the year, we know it's not something you eagerly anticipate as part of your roles. But anyway, we've seen an increasing request from you guys, and these requests are coming from auditors or even other stakeholders in your business to provide you with a list of users in HROnboard and what their level of access is. So we've now made this super easy for you. There's a new export feature in the user management section of HROnboard. And this allows all of your user and role data to be exported to a CSV file, and you'll be able to just simply produce that in real time whenever you need. And it's as simple as that. So try it out, give it a go, let us know how you think the information's presented. It's quite a new feature, so definitely looking for feedback on this one. But otherwise, that should help during dreaded audit season, you guys. Yeah? Cool. All right. Well, that's it from me for the offers updates. And I'm going to hand over to our welcomes team. And Pete and Kirsty is going to talk to you about our welcomes updates.
Cool. Thanks, Michelle. That was really good. And I think, you know, there's a lot happening in our offers product. The product's getting quite mature now, and the sophistication of what you can do to satisfy your unique workflows around the job offer and acceptance process and the data management is really, really good. So we'll keep putting out features as we hear them from our customers, and we really, you know, rely on the feedback of the people who are actually using the product is really important to us. But I guess as we go and tell you a little bit more what we're doing in our welcome space, just to reintroduce the product a little bit, as you know, the job offer is just the beginning in a new starter journey, because they accept their contract, they provide you all the information, and then they wait for their start date. In a lot of organisations, that can be 4 weeks, it can be 2 weeks, it could be the following day after. But of course, onboarding just doesn't end at their first day. Onboarding is a journey that goes through from their first week, their first month, right up until end of probation or even end of first anniversary. And if we go, who's clicking?
I'm clicking.
Oh, you're clicking.
Sorry.
If we go to that next slide. So, you know, we study a lot in the onboarding space, and we know that onboarding, to create a great new starter journey and a new starter onboarding experience for someone, there's a lot of elements in there. And we've done previous webinars about what we call the COAT theory, which is saying a great onboarding journey is composed of culture elements, objectives around the role and what the organisation is doing. Admin side is always important. There's so much admin in onboarding, and also the team element. And if you just click once more, Michelle,
yep.
You know, what we cover in offers is nearly what you're currently doing in terms of preparing the job offer, collecting the information, only captures a small piece of the total onboarding journey. And so obviously there's a gap at HROnboard where we want to be an end-to-end onboarding platform. So there's a whole lot there that is not being covered through the offers that extends out in terms of the employee journey. And that's why we built our latest product and have been working on it furiously over the last year and a half or so, called Welcomes. So Welcomes, as some of you know, is the continuation of once what happens after the job offer is accepted. And really Welcomes, the idea behind Welcomes is to keep engaging that new starter before their first day, in their first week, and ongoing. And the way we engage those new starters and also their hiring managers is to trickle out little tidbits of content and information for them over a period of time. We've done a lot of work to schedule and content that. I'll just go back a little more.
Sorry.
Be quick. We've done a lot of work to enable you to create a default sort of journey template that you can tailor based on job role, location, and even personalize down to the individual. But one of the big things that we've done with journeys is make it really easy for you to get going, because what we've recognized is a lot of organizations either don't have a lot of content around their induction process and the post-acceptance process, or that content is in a lot of different formats. So what we provide as part of our service is a consultant who will come in and help you set that up and get you going really quickly with a lot of the elements that we know work well with new starters. So just to give you a bit of a recap on what that would look like from a new starter, it's pretty much a mobile experience. There's nothing to download. It just runs on a web browser on a phone, and they can go through and look at information that trickles out over time, either things they need to do, so tasks, or there's also content that they can drill down and have a look at over time. And that might be content about the values and the vision of the business. It might be a video welcome from the CEO, or it might be some information about their specific job role or location. So Welcomes is a fully fledged employee experience product. We've done a lot of new features over the last couple of months. We have this concept of what we call a journey template, and that's where you build a new hire journey that will evolve over time, containing content and activities. One of the requests we had is a lot of organisations, while you can tailor the journey for particular job roles and locations, what they really wanted to do was personalise the journey for an individual, because there's lots of cases where they need to add specific information for that new starter to really make that journey more engaging for them. And examples of this is things like travel information for fly-in, fly-out workers. They're hiring someone, but they need to link through to a lot of travel information for that particular person. Another example is first day schedule for people. So you can create a content card that might appear to that new starter 2 days before their start date, giving them very specific information about what they need to do on their first day. And that's really good. The other use case with this is sometimes there's information in that default journey template that you don't really want everyone to get. And the best example I've seen of this is if you're hiring someone who's literally starting in 2 days' time, sometimes in your journey you might have all this sort of reading type material you put in there. But if someone's starting tomorrow, you might need to fast track them, and you might want to remove some of that induction journey content. So it's another good reason why you might want to personalize the journey. Another good feature, if you click, we've added in the ability to personalize the content and the tasks using placeholders. So just a fairly easy way to really, again, make that information look tailored to that person. And again, the feedback, we get from learning and development and HR teams is one of the difficulties of mandating an onboarding or induction experience is the ability to tailor it to different job roles, locations, and people. And what we're trying to do with Welcomes is make that an easier task, but still make it a bit more templated, but still don't lose the personal touch with the journey. Okay, so the next feature that's pretty big that we've introduced in the last, month or two, I suppose, yep, with this is what we call multiple journeys. So I've spoken about that with Welcomes. You have a journey template where you kind of put in your content and your activities. That we've got a little builder editor that you can do this in. But we were being asked about other use cases for employee experiences within an organisation. And we weren't even thinking of these kind of journeys when we first started, but a great one is parental leave. So someone goes on leave, they're away from the business for 12 months, when they're returning, and really they need to be reinducted back into the business because they've been away. Some organisations disconnect people's email access and things like that, so they've really had no contact with the company while they're away. So they wanted to build other journeys that would reintroduce people back into the organisation. So we've now given you the ability to create other journey templates for scenarios outside of just employee onboarding. Parental leave is a good one. Office move, we've got one of our customers coming up who's moving 300-400 people from one location to another. They're looking at, and that's a big move, but you know the date, you know the location. You want to start preparing people, 4 weeks in advance to say, hey guys, we're moving, here's some things to know. That 2 days before the move, don't forget to pack up. 1 day before the move, it's arriving, the day of the move. So those people in those journeys can get notifications to their phone or via email notifications, just giving them little bits of guidance about what's going on. Meanwhile, the administrators can monitor who's engaging with those journeys, who's doing those tasks. You can report on those sort of things. So multiple journeys gives you that ability to really start using the product for other ways. Probably one that's not mentioned on there is offboarding. We're still looking at, a lot of people are leaving organisations on good terms. It's just they're keeping exploring their career. How do they come back, or how do you keep those alumni engaged with other things? So they're a couple of the big examples that we're doing with welcomes. Any questions before we go too far?
How are tasks completed and reported on?
Yep. So in your journey template, you can set up tasks and you can assign tasks to either the new starter or the hiring manager, the team leader. And those tasks, at the moment, the way tasks you complete a task is you just click a button on the task and say, I've completed that. That's recorded, and there's also task reporting. You can report either at the journey level or by, is it the new starter, is it the team leader, that sort of thing. So look, you can learn, that's just touching on a couple of the new features that we've done with welcomes. There's a lot more to it. I know what we've discovered as we've been rolling out welcomes to our existing customers is just the bandwidth to consume another project and another platform, and part of our learning and discovery about how we can help organisations is we've been setting up that journey for you. So we know sometimes there's a bit of an overhead in terms of, well, my onboarding, my induction is not very well defined, so what do I need to put in that? And that's where our expertise can really help you, is we've got a lot of those best practices. What do a lot of other organisations, what content are they putting in? What activities are they getting new starters to do? We've got a really nice template we've developed based on that feedback. So when you sign up for welcomes, we can basically use that template and apply it to your organisation, your brand, your culture, and that way you can get started really quickly. Welcomes integrates really quickly into offers, so as soon as someone accepts their offer, they get put onto a journey straight away. So there's nothing really you need to do from an admin overhead to get you going. If you want to know more, Kirsty is more than happy to give you a little guided tour of the product. She's got a lot of experience in this space. We've been working with a lot of organisations about really how to improve that experience. We're getting a lot of good feedback from the new starters about that experience. We've had a couple of our customers speak at a couple of different HR events recently about the effect of that. Freedom was probably a really good talk that happened just recently about the experience with the new starters. So yeah, more than welcome to have a chat to Kirsty about that. That would be great. So that's it from Welcomes Update, Michelle.
Cool. Thanks, Pete.
I didn't hijack it too much, did I?
Well, you did, but that's all right. I'll forgive you. All right, guys, so just to wrap it up, a couple of things that you do need to know, and some updates we've made to your environment. So many of you would be aware that the Fair Work statement in Australia was updated recently, and also for our New Zealand customers, there was a tax code update too. So pleased to say that these updates have all been applied in your environment, and we're still working away at keeping you guys compliant with these things. You don't have to worry about that kind of paperwork anymore, which is good. And also for our roadmap and what to expect in our upcoming release, which is M&M's.
Yeah,
M&M's. Can we get peanut M&M's?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Belinda's already bought all else.
Anyway, so with M&M's, one of the key features we're concentrating on is actually how we integrate with recruitment systems. So we know the very first step in collecting your new hires data does begin at the recruitment process. So if we can ensure that this data you're collecting seamlessly integrates with HROnboard, you're now more assured that the integrity of the data is maintained at the very first opportunity. So we've got a number of recruitment vendors that we partner with, and the way HROnboard integrates with these systems does differ. We've got some fantastic integrations already established with companies such as Express, who are a vendor whose predictive hiring technology simplifies staff selection. And the great team there have developed a seamless integration experience, and it's really fast and easy to set up. It's practically 3 steps and you're on your way. And we've actually got a couple of customers in the room attending today, and they're benefiting from this integration. So a massive shout out to you guys. But to meet the needs of all of our customers, no matter the recruitment system you use, we've developed an inbound integration infrastructure so we can significantly reduce the reliance on development from other vendors or waiting for it to be prioritised on their roadmaps. And the benefits of this is that HROnboard will have more control over what data can be pulled into our system by the push of a button, and not sort of limited to set amounts of data pushed into our system manually. So the first customers to use this integration feature are our job adder customers, so nice work guys. And then we're going to be rolling out this feature sort of based on priority. So if you're using a recruitment system and you just want a bit more information about how our new inbound integration works, please let me know, and we'll sort of base it on priority as to which one we tackle next. So that's a big thing to look out for, and that's it for us. Thanks for your questions throughout this session. It's a really great, I really love going through all of the features that we've rolled out to you guys and updating these with you on a quarterly basis. However, these are driven by your feedback, so please, if there's anything that you're still finding painful or doing manually as part of your onboarding process, please let us know, and that's the way that we're really driving our releases.
Because I'll just add to that with welcomes, we're really trying to base the next features we're developing on the pain points we're seeing from our customers. Because when you go into like a sales demo with a prospective customer, they'll ask for a lot of, does your system do X, does it do Y, does it do the next thing? But when you go to the operational mode, the requirements sometimes change. Like they're asking about nice to haves, but when you go into an operational setting, you really find out where the pain points are. So we're really keen to understand our existing customers who are using the platforms. We have a very short feedback loop here, so we really get that feedback as soon as it comes from a customer to either Michelle in account management, one of our customer support people, someone in the sales team. It really comes back straight into the product and development team. So we are listening, and we're really keen to hear any other suggestions or feedback.
Cool. All right, well, enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. I'll be putting these slides on our LinkedIn user group this afternoon. We've also recorded it, so we will get some snapshots of these little features and pop that on the LinkedIn user group as well. If you're not part of the LinkedIn user group, please look for it. It's the HROnboard user group, and I'll let you in. I'll let you be a member because you're all existing customers. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, great catching up, and no doubt we'll catch you all soon.
Thank you all.
Thanks everyone.